Okay guys, it is the next morning. Haven't had breakfast yet. Just drank some water, about 1.5 liters. And my weight, just as always after a flight, dropped quite a lot. So the breakfast will be a bit bigger, but we're still going to continue to do the cardio. A bit less steps because you don't want inflammation from the steps in the legs. So what we're doing is simply like 20-25 minutes walk, then head back to the hotel, then have the breakfast, then go to Whole Greens and then get all the stuff we need for the rest of the peak week, which is very exciting because finally then I can start eating and filling out my frame, which is always very much needed on the Olympia stage. So very excited guys, and this is the first time I'm actually walking in the daylight in Orlando here, and it's been looking amazing. Like Aruba is very amazing as well. But if you compare it to this, America, this is really my kind of town, my kind of environment to be in. So just pure American culture here, and I love it. Anyway, see you at the breakfast. These are all without grates, right? Without fish bones?
Not all of them. Like he's gonna have bones, he's gonna have bones. This won't have no bones, no bones, no bones, no bones.
The Netherlands, so this is literally the one I get from the whole food store at home, so might as well get these as well. They're all farm raised. So you have the choice here in between farm raised fish and wild caught fish. Now obviously the halibut I chose here, this one is wild caught and this one is wild caught as well. I'm going to choose this as well. However, if you look at the price, when you have a wild caught salmon, it's going to be a whole lot of dollars per pound. Luckily I only need one salmon fillet a day, so it's not going to be a whole lot of volume. But still the price will be up there, but it's going to be worth it for the prep because you need the best quality foods possible.
Anything else for you?
Yeah, so it's also like 4.5 pounds of the cod fillet.
4.5 for the cod?
This is kind of rare. A sockeye salmon is in the Netherlands very expensive, especially when it's wild caught. So this is a very good price for the sockeye in my opinion. Now there's not a lot of fat in there, but it doesn't really matter because it's still going to have some fat, of which a lot of omega-3s. And honestly, if you take higher fat salmon like this one, a big part of it will be omega-3, but not all. And here you know for sure that all of it will be omega-3 fats, anti-inflammatory fats, so that's very important. Okay guys, we are back in the apartment right now. I'm making the second meal of the day, so I'm actually going to have 2 meals before the workout. Turned out to be better that way in terms of the timing, so let me show you what I'm making right now. So the pre-workout meal will be 40 grams of rice, golden rice of course. The protein source is going to be very delicious halibut fillet right from the Whole Foods supermarket. As you saw, it was on sale, so it still was expensive, but not as expensive as usual. It's just a delicate, beautiful, delicious white fish. And in this huge microwave, we have some asparagus and celery going to be mixed into the rice. And yeah, that's gonna be it. So let me show you what it looks like. Now you gotta admit, that looks good. I mean, what we have here is some simple ingredients. And look at this. I filled back up my Himalayan pink salt container with a lot more coarse. If they're gonna sharpen, that's always the disadvantage of a camera like this. You can see something is in front of the screen and behind it's sharpened, but in front it's not. Weird stuff. But anyway, you can see the bottom is like sand, and this is very coarse, and you can see the darker color, more other minerals included as well. So this is more white, this is more coarse, and the more the color is in there, the better it is. But anyway, I put some of that on there, some black pepper, some oregano, celery, asparagus, you know, water expelling, water diuretic vegetables, and some golden rice beneath, some actually non-GMO, biological, organic, white, long grain rice or something. you know from Whole Foods it's gonna be good. But anyway, let's enjoy this one. And after this, we will train. Okay guys, on our way to the gym. It's going to be Iron Religion Gym. This seems to be the gym where a lot of the Olympia athletes are going. And it's only 10 minutes away from where we're staying, so why not give it a shot? It's going to be a chest workout, a little bit of side delts, a little bit of triceps. Nothing too extreme because we're only a few days away from the Olympia competition. You don't want inflammation there, you just want blood in there. And this is going to be one of the one of the last low carb days. So right now it's really about getting the blood in there, making sure the muscle is primed to take up all the carbs when I do take them in. So yeah, see you there. Okay guys, we are here at Iron Religion Gym. We're gonna do a chest workout, basically an upper body workout, just a push workout. Bit of the chest, the side delts, the triceps. And we're gonna start out on the comfy Swift machine that I used to do at Fit Gym. Really one of my favorite movements. So just a Swift machine, bench press, really getting a nice warm up of the chest. So first, start up with the bar and then go from there. So the nice thing about this Swift machine is that I'm already used to using it in the gym that I train at, my girlfriend's gym, 100% Fit Gym back in the Netherlands. One of my chest rotations always starts with the incline Swift machine bench press. To me it's an amazing movement because you don't have to balance anything out, and if you want to go for maximum muscle growth in a certain muscle, you simply should do an exercise that only allows you and enables you to contract that muscle you want without having to focus on anything else. Now there's always going to be a balance between machines like this and free weights, because without free weights you will create weaknesses that you can't fix with machines. So the balance in between the two is always very important, because usually at home when I do the Swift machine bench press, I then do a flat dumbbell press, for example, or some dips, or even a flat bench press. So the combination of the two is the best of both worlds. Now here you just have to position yourself perfectly under the bar so you don't feel the front delts working, but at the same time you feel the upper chest working very well. So you have to go all the way down, feel that incredible stretch in the chest, then go all the way up without locking out your elbows, which is something you see me do. Is I go all the way up, but until my arms are almost straight, then I go back down. That's the best way to keep the muscle under tension. It's the safest way, it's the most joint healthy way, and that is the way to really do your heaviest sets like this one. This is the heaviest working set. Now each movement I'm doing today is simply going to be some warm-ups first, 5 to 10 reps, and then one heaviest set so I don't overtax the muscle. Okay, the next one after the incline movement, with just this one working set. That's enough, no need to tax the muscle too much. That will take the inflammation over the show day, that's not what you want. The next one is going to be a flat press, so a different angle. We're going to do the exact same thing, do some warm-ups, and then until I feel that I can't hit a weight more than 10 to 12 reps, that's going to be my working set, and that's it for the exercise. So I'm still getting quite a nice pump because the breakfast was a bit higher in carbs. So we need to get that going, because the moment you can't get a pump anymore now, it's going to be very difficult to load up in those 2 days before the show. So let's do this one. Alrighty, so after having done an incline movement, which is one of the angles you can do and work the chest with, I'm now working a different angle, the flat angle. So the goal of today is to hit the chest from as many angles as possible, pretty much do push movements from as many angles as possible to make sure the chest is filled with blood. But I am still doing some working sets here. For example, if I'm 1 day out or 2 days out from the show, I would not be doing any working sets anymore, because a working set automatically means creating inflammation, and that inflammation causes muscle growth. That's a signaling you're giving to your muscles, but it does require and cause inflammation to exist. So this set, for example, I am going to failure, so pretty much I couldn't do another rep after this, and that causes some inflammation. Now the amount of reps you go beyond failure, the amount of effort you put into those sets, if you go beyond failure with forced reps, for example, that creates a lot more inflammation, or when a spotter helps you, or when you're doing 2 to 3 working sets. Each one builds upon your fatigue, muscle inflammation, and also recovery. I don't want to have to recover a lot from the session. The goal of the session is muscle retention, just to keep giving the muscles a signal, hey, don't leave me, I need you to still lift some heavy weights. Okay, so this movement is a shoulder press, normally not included in a regular chest workout. But in peak week, the workouts are never normal or never the same as the off-season workouts, for example. So now we're simply doing presses from all angles, and I choose to do the shoulder press as the last pressing movement. So after the 3 presses, so it's nice and warmed up. You don't have to go heavy to go to failure. It's very safe, and this machine actually feels very good and healthy on the shoulders. So really taxing only the front delts before moving on to another chest movement. So let's do this one. So as I mentioned, we are hitting different angles on the push presses or the push movements for the upper body. So I first did an incline press, then a flat press, then a decline press, and now I'm simply hitting a shoulder press, which is going straight up. Because I already worked the chest, the shoulders are already pre-exhausted because every single chest movement works the front delts, which is why I never really work the front delts separately anyway. But now I want to create more volume and more frequency in terms of the amount of exercise I do, so that I don't have to do multiple working sets across multiple exercises, and that way I can push more blood into different parts of the muscles of the upper body. But I only did 1 working set, as I do with all other movements, so nothing too taxing. And then after having done 4 different presses, it's time for an isolation movement for the chest. I only did 1 warm-up here and then 1 working set, which is this one. Originally this is actually a chest press, but I'm making it a chest fly, so all you want to do is take out the triceps and as much as the front delt as possible, and really just use the chest to do this movement. So go all the way back, stretch the chest, pause a little bit to make sure momentum is gone, and then squeeze the chest as hard as you can, creating those etched in striations, which exactly is the thing you want to show on stage to showcase conditioning. The more striations and fullness combined on stage, on classic physique stage, that is the best way, in my opinion, to represent a true classic physique. Now I have to say, even though you can see striations and shape here and there in my physique right now, the pump was very difficult to achieve because the carbs and the calories in totality are simply so low. When I'm doing the exercise, you can see blood rushing in, but pretty much the moment I stop, like 2 or 3 minutes after, the pump starts to disappear again because there are simply no carbs to hold the fluid inside the muscle. Now I am still putting pink Himalayan salt in my drinks, so I take 1.5 liters, pretty much 2 liters with me, and each drink has 4 to 5 grinds of Himalayan pink salt and some EAAs in there, just to make sure that the electrolytes I do lose I replenish right away to keep at least some kind of fullness and pump going. So that's a big tip I always give on my channel. If you lose the pump during your prep quite early on, what you have to do is keep sodium high. Don't, guys, don't deplete sodium, because if you do, and you can't do anything anymore at the end of the prep with sodium, because you're then sensitive to it and you will hold water also under the skin because of it, possibly. At least the risk is there. If you're always used to sodium, your body will know what to do with it, push it to where it needs to go, and you won't get any weird, unexpected reactions from the sodium anymore, because you've always been using it, you know what to expect. But anyway, after having done those chest movements, including that dip movement to really finish the chest off with a good stretch, we're doing some side lateral raises on this machine. I did like 3 to 4 sets here with 15 to 20 reps. And you can also see on the side that the striations are in the side delts. So you can see that there's a lot of definition there, but the fullness and the pumpness there is missing, because at this moment I was still, wanting to make weight. As of this recording, I already made weight, so that's very nice. As you guys know, the weigh-ins for Classic Physique have already happened, but during these workouts, I was still worried, at least a little worried, that I wouldn't make weight if I kept loading up carbs. So it's better to be safe than sorry. I went very low on the calories and carbs until the very end, and then when I woke up on the day itself, I was still like 2 kilos, 1.5 kilos below the weight limit, and that's when I had my first bigger breakfast, and that video of course is coming to the channel very, very soon. But after having done some chest and some side delts, we finish off the workout with some tricep movements. So first a tricep push down. This is, by the way, the famous superset I always like to do in almost each tricep workout. So I do separate arm workouts when I'm not in prep like this, and then I always like to start out with a rope tricep push down, and usually like to superset it with an overhead rope extension, because with this push down right here you work the small head the most, you emphasize the small head, and with this version you emphasize the long head and the medial head automatically. So what you're doing is you're filling up the entire triceps. All heads of the triceps are being contracted, are being stretched, are being filled with blood, which is what the definition of this workout is: just getting a pump, just getting blood in the muscle and maintaining the muscle mass that I have by still using enough load on the muscle to make sure the signal is given to keep that muscle right there where it belongs. Okay guys, that was the workout, so a little different from usual. A lot of pressing movements, a bit more frequency on the exercises. So multiple exercises, like 2 more than usual, but less working sets. So the overall volume is pretty much the same, but I like to hit every single angle, so I fill up each muscle fiber possible, so I don't have to go to failure multiple times on a same exercise. So got quite a nice pump, but I do notice that the pump disappears quite quickly as well. So we're gonna have a nice post-workout meal with some carbs in there. And tomorrow morning I'm gonna weigh myself again, and depending on my weight, I'll see how many carbs I eat on that day. And then the day after is gonna be Thursday, which is going to be the weigh-in, so very exciting. Once you look at this beauty, guys, revel in it. Along with the beautiful kiwi, of course. Organic from Whole Foods this time. So what we have is 250, well actually 300 grams of white fish. I upped the white fish a bit. So 250 grams of codfish, 50 grams of halibut, fillet. We have about 200 grams of veggies in total, the celery, asparagus and some broccoli, and 100 grams of basmati golden rice with plenty of Himalayan pink salt. So this is my post-workout meal. It's going to be the last carb meal of the day. The rest of the meals, 3 more meals, will simply be protein, fat, and vegetable meals. And tomorrow I'm going to weigh in to see what my weight is, because I did notice a bit more flatness in my physique today, along with a lighter weigh-in because of the flight. I don't hold water, I actually lose water on the flight, so I don't want that to show on stage. So instead, I'll load up just a little bit with pre and post workout meals. The rest is going to stay the same, just to make sure I maintain conditioning. And then depending on the weigh-in tomorrow, I'll see what I do then. But for now, let's enjoy. Okay guys, time for the 4th meal of the day, and I just actually had a Fouad Abiad podcast, which was amazing. It's been an honor to be on his podcast, and you know, to be one of the ones invited because of all of you, my true loyal followers and the watchers of my channel, and my especially Vissers Instagram, Vintage Genetics channel, and this very one. You all told him and asked him whether Fouad could get me on a podcast, and he messaged me. But he already messaged me before you guys asked him a lot, but you still did, so that's amazing. Anyway, let me show you the meal I'm eating right now. And this is it. Now it looks kind of interesting. So we have about 200 grams of white fish right here. This is codfish. We have some asparagus and celery, 200 grams, and also some 2 eggs with the egg yolks. This looks kind of interesting, but it's because I use an induction stove pan, and it cooks a bit different from what I'm used to, so I put it on too much heat. So middle it actually got kind of crunchy, and this is still nice and yolky, so that's amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy this. A bit more fat than the rest of the meals that I would normally have. Like normally the egg part would have been gone, but now I'm slowly adding fats in to load triglycerides into the cell membrane, so that's very important. And once that's loaded, it's time for the carbs to go in on Thursday. Very exciting. All right guys, time for another walk in the day. Not too long. As you can see, it looks pretty beautiful here, so it's not a bother at all. The temperature too, I prefer a bit cooler than Aruba. Because in Aruba, whether it's night or day, the temperature is exactly the same. And here it actually cools down nicely at night. So right now, just going to walk 20 minutes in total. Keep the metabolism burning, keep the insulin sensitivity going, keep the carb uptake going without inflaming the legs, however. So not walking too long, but just enough for the metabolism to stay focused and up there. And after this, 2 more meals. So I'll show you those, of course. So see you there. Alrighty, so this is going to be the protein and fat source of the next meal. 300 grams of Nordic salmon. Normally it's 250 grams, so the protein and fat count has been increased just a little bit. So slowly loading the fats. Right there is some asparagus and some celery and some broccoli going on. So again, no carbs, but it's going to be delicious. So let me show you. Look at this, guys. Isn't this beautiful? So the mixture of green veggies is obviously very healthy. We have the broccoli, which is healthy, but the asparagus and celery are going to be the main vegetables up until and through the loading phase as well, because as I mentioned before, if they get rid of excess water beneath the skin and all over the body where you don't want it ideally, and it's just delicious vegetable. So added some pink salt, added some black pepper, same thing here, but also added some beautiful dill, and yeah, let's enjoy this one.